welcome to another episode of E-Chat with the energetic EJ. I'm so super excited to be here with you guys today. Thank you guys for watching my last episode. I really do hope that you found it valuable. And if this is your first time on my YouTube channel, please hit the subscribe button and then also hit the notification button so you can get my videos once they drop. So E-Chat basically is about sharing stories that inspire you. So I'm hoping that for everybody that I bring up here on E-Chat, they get to share their story and they get to inspire you to also make you remember that your dream is valid, you are valid, and you are enough. So welcome to another episode. And today I'm super excited because officially it's the first time I'm talking to a scientist. And I am so excited. I mean, I want to know everything. How do they eat? How do they sleep? What do they do on a daily basis? Do you not want to find out too? I bet you want to. So I have with me here today my guest on the show. His name is Temi Cotek. In fact, even his name gone. I'm wondering. So there's a lot to know about this dude, right? So in case you're wondering, so I'm not about bringing people that maybe you already know or anything, but I'm bringing real people with real stories and who have stories that can inspire you, inspire me, and we can all learn together from their stories, okay? So thank you and welcome once again. Hi, Temi.
Hi, it's real. Energetic EJ.
Oh, yes, that's me.
Right.
So good to see you. So good to
Yeah,
finally
same
do
here.
this. How are
Thanks
you?
for the introduction. I'm good, thank you.
I mean, it's the first time I'm talking to a scientist, though, so I want to find out. What do you do? How do you eat? How do you sleep?
We are humans after all. Like, the same way everyone does it is the same way we do it.
So, let's meet you. Who is Temi Cotek? So, Cotek spelled C-O-T-E-K, yeah?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
And that's the full name.
Yeah, that's a full one. I mean, it wasn't the original one, but it's
Please tell us the story behind that.
Well, the original one was supposed to be Olaiwola, which is quite long for most people to pronounce. Olaywiwola. So that's like it's too long. It's just complicated. Olaiwola.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, based on the kind of friends and people I've met, right? So it's just like they can't pronounce it, right?
Really?
But Cotek is literally an acronym. Yeah. So there is meaning for each letter. Cotek. Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah,
So each
tell
letter
us. So
has a
let us
meaning.
find out. Please tell us. We want to know.
Okay, with the C started from high school. I used to have a nickname called Chimera. So that's what the C stands for. Yeah. Chimera actually is no Chimera. It's actually a kind of legend and myth kind of stuff that means it's a kind of creature with multiple characteristics or multiple features. So that's what it means. So it's a mixture of different features in one thing.
Well done. Okay, tell me.
Yeah, exactly. So you can guess exactly why I had to have that name. So I used to have it then. So I was like, okay, I need more than just Chimera or something. And then I was just thinking of all the combination of all my names, and then I just thought, okay, fine, let's come up with something. Then there was O. So O is either Olaiwola or Omogbola, Amos Omogbola.
Okay.
So that's my I don't know, it's not my middle name anyway, but it's one of my names though. So there is O, which is Omogbola Ondo, and then there is T, which is the usual Temitire. And then E is the middle name, which is Ezekiel, and K is Kadri. So Kadri is one of my father's maybe grandfather's name or family name or something. So it's combination of all the names. So that's
your family name.
Yeah. So a combination of all the names.
Okay, so let me get this.
Cotek.
Let me get this. So then, are you here? Feels like it's frozen.
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I can hear you.
Are you still here?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay, so let me get you now. So you now officialize the name Cotek. Is that what
Yeah.
you're telling me?
Yeah, exactly. It's already, I've got my affidavits and everything done. The only thing left is
Are
just
you
to,
kidding me?
obviously, I actually have a meaning for it. I have a full meaning for it already.
Wow.
I mean, of course,
Wait
it
to
needs
wait
to be.
to. So what did your dad say about it when you did it?
Oh, well, does he have a choice?
Hey, I like this man. Oh.
Does anyone have a choice? I mean,
Wow. This is
it's a matter of
interesting.
it's a matter of decision, and I decided to go with that. I'm like, yeah, right.
Wow. I've seen people who, kind of change their names and all of that, but I like this one. Like, I like, okay, at least you're in there somewhere, Kadiri,
Exactly that is the point. I'm like, well, I mean, it's not safe. You're not even in the name at all. You're there, so you shouldn't feel
Wow,
bad or
this is
anything. So
fantastic. Wow, you're better, I guess, or I hope that you're going to kind of frame this so you can explain this to your children.
oh
So
yeah,
your
I have
children
to,
are going
right?
to be Cotek. Oh my gosh, that's so sweet.
that's that's the best part. But there should be a Mrs. Kodak first, right? Anyway, so yeah,
Of
before
course,
the
she's coming. She gonna
oh
come.
yeah,
Her name is too
definitely.
sweet, anyways.
Oh
Hi,
man.
I am Elizabeth Cotek. Oh my gosh,
Oh
that
man.
sounds.
You see, that sounds sweet already.
It sounds sweet.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Cool.
I like it. I like it. Well done. Okay,
Thanks.
so
But one more thing, I added
uh-huh.
a meaning to it as a whole. So I mean,
Okay,
people just ask, I mean, what does it mean, right? So I
yeah,
just call it means hope.
it means hope.
Yeah.
Babe, money, babe, bros. Are you sure you're not going to add it to dictionary by? Patent it,
Hopefully.
oh. I'm telling you, patent it. You
Hopefully, I
should.
mean, maybe one day. I mean, it's
You
really cool.
should. I mean, you
Oh yeah,
should.
as we
Protect.
grow and as
And
time
then
comes
after
by.
that, from your family, every other person starts answering the name Protect.
Exactly, that's the
You are
deal.
a legend. Oh my gosh.
Oh man, yes, I wish so. Amen to that.
Oh my goodness. All right. That's really fantastic to know. I mean, it's
Yeah,
exciting as well. So thank you for
yeah,
sharing that with
thanks.
us. So outside of the name, the meaning of your name, who are you? What do you do? Who are you? Because I mean, that question though,
Yeah.
I've asked people that question in the course of, doing a couple of interviews, and the way people answer that questions differ from person to person. So who is Temi Cotek?
Cool, thanks. I mean, one thing I've always been able to identify first is that I'm a Christian. So that is something that is very, very genuine. That's I'm very much like everything can change. Every other thing can change. Or I mean, science, writing, all of those can change all of a sudden. We don't know what can happen tomorrow. But one thing I know is I'm a Christian. And that's the confirmed one. So apart from that, I mean, I've always enjoyed science as well. So right from time, science has always been science has always been the life. That's one thing that has
Mm.
always been interesting in terms of career path, in terms of doing anything at all. You just want to see, even from tiny plants or big plants to human body or physiology and the environment in total. Science has always been something amazing that attracts my attention easily.
Mm.
And then along the line, literature came in play also. And then I was like, okay, this is something also that is extra. I can add this to being part of me. So apart from just being a Christian, which is like everybody knows about that. Yeah, okay, fine, as a Christian, but then comes science the part also, and then comes the part of literature and art and everything. And that didn't start anytime because I remember, I mean, back in high school, I mean, that's like years ago, and then I used to have friends who are just so good with different talent stuff, right? I mean, those who sing, those who write, they write. All my high school mates are just so good. I was terrible. Like I was lawless. I don't know what to do. I couldn't do anything. Even sport, I can't do anything.
Wow.
The only thing I could do in terms of sport was run. But I
Run.
mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, how many people keep running every single time? You don't get to do running except maybe inter-house sports or kind of you don't get to do that often. But football, all my friends are into that. Basketball, I don't have the height, so yeah, basketball is like no option. Badminton, talk of all this sport, it's all there, right? But I wasn't good at any of this. So, and then when it comes to the other part, my friends are all, those who draw, they drew so nicely. There's a guy, a friend of mine, who is into comics, right? He used to draw and make a story out of it. And in fact, we used to buy his book in high school.
Wow.
So that's how good he was. Yeah, I don't know where he's been now, but yeah, he really was a good artist then. I think, he's an architect now anyways. Yeah, so
nice.
Somehow he's used his skills for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, so over the line, I keep finding my path slowly. It was very slow. I was very slow in finding mine, but yeah, somehow I was able to find it and keep directing it and knowing what exactly I want from each part. I keep saying, I keep following and I found myself though. So yeah, so I think that's just a summary of what it is and how I just brought me to this point anyway. So yeah.
Okay, so thank you for sharing that with us. I would also like to know, so I hear you say that science has always been a thing for you.
Yeah.
Did you grow up in Nigeria, first of all?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so in growing up in Nigeria then, what inspired that in you, like science? Like, what was it that spurred your, do you remember what was it that like ignited your interest in science?
Yeah, first was medicine. My mom, right? She was into nursing and
I see.
What's it called, obstetrics and gynecology. Yeah.
Okay.
So she was doing those, and that was my first interest actually. Yeah. So medicine was like, even being a child, you're like, what do you want to be? Oh, doctor, right?
Doctor.
Everybody's dreaming to be a doctor, obviously. So but then there's more to science than just being a doctor or whatever it is. You can't all find cure for COVID every time, right? So the rest of us need to at least do a lot of things to at least make the world a better place. So that was the first inspiration. That was the first thing that really sparked my interest in science and then medicine. So that led me to going to India actually, because medicine was the first option. But then even in Nigeria also, I started as industrial chemistry. I said my degree first as industrial chemistry.
Okay.
It wasn't that good, right? I was like, what will I do with this? I wasn't enjoying it. And then boom. Of course, I didn't learn to appreciate back then. So I was just always complaining and nagging and be like, I don't want this. And this wasn't what I wanted. And Nigeria universities, right? You want something that they give you something else.
They give you what they want.
They give you what they want, exactly. Not what you want.
Not what you want.
So that will happen. And I was like, oh man, okay, fine. At least I have something. Let me just use it. And then the window to travel to India came up, and I was like, oh yeah, I don't mind. I would go. So, and I've always enjoyed Z movies back then. Most of Nigerians, we always watch Z.
Very many manias.
All those things are fake.
Those times of Amma, Akbar, Anthony. Oh my God.
Oh my goodness. Trust me. Until you get there, you realize, oh man, they've been giving us beans.
Bobo.
Bobo. We've chopped beans, tire. Oh man. Seriously, I was having this expectation. It kind of sounds stupid to have such an expectation that you will get there and you start seeing people dancing and those who are trust me, it was
like that was their way of life. Every day, all day.
Exactly, right? Every day Rosie and dancing. That's exactly what.
Your bubble was busted.
Oh my goodness, it was really, really busted. I was like, yeah, right. You guys are just humans like us.
Human being like us.
Exactly. There's nothing extra. It's the same thing.
Oh my goodness.
So that's how it went like that though. And then so I found myself there anyways in India, and I actually wrote the exam for medicine then, right? Yeah. I wrote the exam at St. John's. But then again, it's different where you have to go back to the uni to check your name and stuff. But whereas in Nigeria or any other place, once you write an exam or once the list comes out, they send it to you through your email or something.
Okay.
And over the time I was waiting for email to come and nothing came out. Okay. So I just thought, okay, fine, let me go and check out the uni that what's going on. And then boom, they told me, oh, you're late. The list has already been given out. And then blah blah blah. You can't register now, and everything has been closed. I was like, oh my goodness,
What?
seriously? And I can't go back to Nigeria with story. My mom will kill me. It's better you sit down there and beg the uni that, hey, I have to sit with you guys, or whatever you choose to do, just do something. You can't go back home without anything. That's the deal. And I was like, I mean, you're already doing ICH in Nigeria, and then you went and then you want to come back empty-handed.
No way, man. It's not gonna work.
You're there. You have to stay there. That's the point. So then I was just outside, and so I have a couple of people there that we just like, oh well, we can just look for other universities and see what's going on.
Okay.
And then I just stood out, and then we just at the bus stop, and then we raised my arrows. I mean, I look ahead, and then I saw one of these building, and it's a uni. I was like, okay, let's check out the college. Let's see what they do. But I can't go back home. I can't just, obviously I can't just do nothing. And so I just went into the college, and then it was still admission period. And the thing is, medicine starts earlier than the other courses, right?
Okay.
So it's like, it's still up, things were still all running in terms of admission then. So I just went into the school, and then I saw the courses they offer, and then they're like, they do microbiology, biochemistry, and genetics. So I was like, okay. If you tie all those things together, that's almost like medicine.
Oh my God.
Actually, no, in reality, although that was what gave me the hope of, okay, let me try it.
Wow.
But in reality, that's actually true, because if you're gonna go for masters, you can still have the chance of doing something, because we have all the researchers who are mostly from background and everything, so it's just a first degree. Nobody cares that much anyways. So that just gave me the hope, like, let me do it.
Wow.
At least it's still science and still close to what I wanted. So I was like, all right, no wala. And I told my mom, hey, I've started. I've got admission. It's not what you expected. So I just gave her the news.
At least the point is you're not coming back home empty-handed.
Exactly. I'm like, this is actually even good, and it's even easy. It's 3 years. It's this. It's that. I can finish it on time. And of course, if I pass, I can exactly. I brought all the words together, jumble it up, and just done. That's all. Okay, fine. So she accepted it, and she was like, all right. Then, so I started, but trust me, it wasn't easy. Yeah, I don't know those who want to go to India to study, but those people are crazy.
Like, it's hard to study there because it's super, like, you have to study, really.
That is the thing. You have to study like you study for tomorrow and your future, and your life.
They take it seriously. They take it seriously.
Oh my goodness!
It's why they're the best. It's why, like, in some areas, in some subject, like, they are the best. Calculus, math, they're so good.
Oh, tell me about it.
Even if you watch their children, like, they're so, if they're going into music, they're so, like, it's like their
mindset. That's the thing.
Is,
they make
whatever you want to do, you better do it the whole of your life. Like,
that's the thing. They make their life that thing.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. That's where it goes. For us, from Nigeria, whereby, if you're coming from if you're going to read, you just read, brush through, and then just, okay, fine, just go write exam.
Just go anyhow. Let my people go.
Exactly. Maybe you'll get them.
But this you must put in the work. You must put in the work.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So, the first year, it was like, okay, I think I struggled with my biochemistry then also. The first year itself, I was like, all right. First and second semester, actually. Both of it, boom. I was like, okay. I didn't tell my mom, actually. If she's watching this anyway, she'll be like, oh my goodness, oh my family. But anyways, those were in the past, though. So yeah, I can proudly say it now, though. So it wasn't easy then, though. But micro was okay. The thing is, what they expect is you have to write a lot. They don't. For what they say. So that is the thing.
Where your writing came from?
Oh well, no, that is even. Oh my goodness, no, not even in India. It was before India, but it developed more in India actually. So that's what I'm
But you had
saying.
to write a lot.
Yeah, I mean, write a lot in sense. I mean, in Nigeria, by you write if they ask you maybe something for 2 marks or 5 marks, you just give them straight to the point, right? And they don't need too much story. And if you write story for them, for lecturers in Nigeria, they will tell you out of point. So that is
Yeah.
the way it goes,
But
right?
I think they're also lazy to read the long story. Just want for
That
the most times, like,
exactly.
well, from my own experience, it's like giggle in,
Mm.
giggle out. It's what I taught you in class, you should write in my exam. If you write something outside of what I taught you, you are wrong. You fail.
Exactly. That is the
Yeah.
way we do, right? Exactly. But trust me, it's not googling out and in and out at all for these people. So I mean, I remember one of my, I mean, this is one very good story I tell to my friends. Anybody even who goes to India study, I tell them for 2 marks question, a very simple question like what is cell biology or what is cell in general? Like just know the normal cell
Mm,
unit of life, functional unit of life.
mm,
Simple
mm.
as that. But trust me, you can't write that for 2 marks in India. You have to give
Wow.
them the functions, the structure, and every single thing for just 2 marks.
Wow. For two
So
months.
that is the exactly. So that is what I mean, the first time I wrote that, it was a test, and then I got maybe quarter mark. I went to meet the teacher. Excuse me, ma'am. How come you asked for sale and I got 2 marks? I gave her the textbook definition or something like, see my textbook, see my answer. At least, I mean, there's nothing quite different between these or
Different from
something.
what we said.
Exactly, right? And she's like, well, then she started opening. You see this, you have to put this. You see this, you see the structure, you see these organelles. I was like,
Wow.
mom, it's 2 marks. She said,
You
yeah, exactly.
have to work
Oh
for
my
the
man.
mark. You have to
Oh
work.
yeah, you have to operate every single dot of the mark counts.
Wow, now I see.
Oh
Because
yeah, that
I had some Indian classmates as well, and sometimes we really don't go through each other's. But sometimes when we have peer to peer, what's it called now? Marking
studies.
scheme,
Oh, marking,
you
yeah, yeah.
see how much like it's not that deep. Why are you
Everything.
doing it?
I
Wonder. I
collecting
think
it.
it's the way their school system is like. So it's not
Exactly.
about what is this. They want to know what your understanding of what that is. It's not just give us
Exactly.
the definition that we can find everywhere. You have to mix
That is
in
the
your
deal.
own knowledge to be sure that we know you understand what you're saying.
Exactly.
Wow,
That is the way it goes. Oh
that
yeah.
is good.
So, but actually, it is. I mean, I kind of find it very good and useful because it helps you. It broadens your mind and your knowledge
Yes, you
actually.
think more
Because it was
critically.
definitely. I mean, it helped me a lot because in the beginning, I mean, like I told you, first year wasn't easy. And then later, well, I mean, but the thing about the brain is, I mean, that's science, right? One great thing
Yes,
about the brain
once
is,
you
it
work
is
it.
exactly, it is the more you work it, the more it gets used to it, and the more it just keeps expanding and keeps getting back to you in a good way, right? So
So
that's one thing. So
let me come in there to say what aspect. So now I hear you say you now chose to do like microbiology and some other stuff.
genetics, biochemistry, yeah.
So it was just three things together as one.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Say
It's
it
not. I
again:
mean, in Nigeria, it is
microbiology,
genetics,
genetics, and
biochemistry.
chemistry all in one as one course.
Yeah,
Okay,
those
so
trust me, those three are like 12 years course in Nigeria or in anywhere else usually.
and you did it in 3 years.
Oh well, welcome to India.
Wow,
Oh yeah.
that's
I told you, I mean, I
great.
flung it in the beginning, so yeah.
It's
It's good for
rich.
the brain. It's too much, yeah. It's already too
Whoa.
much.
Okay, so now what do you so studying that made you a scientist in a way, is that it or
Yeah, so I mean, it wasn't immediate though. I mean, that was the beginning, right? That was the path. So, but luckily, I mean, as I was going over the years, right, I became to get better. So it wasn't easy, right? So I became to get better and start enjoying what I do for sure. And I was everywhere in my university actually. In fact, people don't know I was actually a scientist when I was there. I was a science student at all. Nobody knows. They thought I was an art student.
because you're
Without
always in
anybody.
events?
I was
How
always everywhere.
how did you manage that together?
I
How did
mean, trust. Well, what happened is okay. In the first year, I wasn't out at all. But then later on, when so I used to have English course also because I mean it's part of it. You have to have English lecturers and stuff. So my English lecturer saw me writing, and I mean people used to. I mean in the beginning they ask when we're doing the introduction of yourself and what's your
Mm,
hobbies and stuff. I was like, well, I like to write poetry and I like poems and stuff. So they're
mm,
like, oh, nice. So I wrote a poem for one of our teachers then.
mm,
So then she liked it so much, and it was Abhishekta. So I wrote a poem about a star, something like that. So it was just something she really enjoyed so much. She shared it among her friends, and so the fame went a bit from there.
There's
So
something
then,
there is something about Indians. I don't know. Like if they handle something, you boom. Do you get?
exactly, that's the way.
Let's let
Exactly.
me, if you're, so let's say you are an artist or something, and
Yeah.
your work blows in India, it will blow.
Oh, it's exactly the
Because
blue
as
everywhere.
in,
That is the way it goes. Exactly. And in fact, I mean, they're so good at that. Trust me, and that has helped me in terms of, I mean, even getting better in writing also. Because after that, then they were. I mean, actually, each universities we always have competitions. Almost every year, or every year, there is always one college hosting one competition or the other, or some event and stuff. So from there, I started going for competitions, and trust me, I've won almost everything.
oh
Because
yeah, you should have sat yourself today and arrange your awards behind you.
I can share the pictures with you. Trust me, oh, that's true. If I arrange it, it's gonna go from here this way. I think I have about 32 certificates or 35.
Wow,
So,
amazing.
I mean,
And
I was
all
really,
not in the science area, in the science
well.
sphere,
It's
or is a
mixed. It's
mixture of
mixed. Oh
all?
yeah, but majority are literature. Majority are,
Wow.
yeah, exactly.
So
Majority are
how
literature.
do you combine the two? Like, where do you find the meeting point, science and literature?
Yeah, I mean, the beauty of that is I don't really see them as different things. I see them as me myself. I don't see that,
Mm,
oh, I'm a scientist, I'm an artist or something. I see them as it's who I am already. So I don't, so I make them myself, not two different things. So when it comes to science, I can tell you science, I can talk science for the rest of tomorrow. When you
mm,
talk of art, I can talk of art till future comes. So the
wow.
thing is, I don't really see it as, oh, I have to talk about science and then I have to get into it separately, or I have to talk about art, I have to get into it separately. It comes just kind of, I won't say so natural because, of course, we all practice and learn things, but it's
Mm,
just something I've seen as a personal thing for myself. Like it has become a part of me already. So it
mm.
has, because over the years, practicing both at the same time, it's
Like
become a natural
you're
thing.
finding expression.
Exactly, because I mean, the fact is, okay, in science, science is all about what experiment, observation, and interpreting your hypotheses and stuff, right? Same is
Mm,
art. What you see is what you have to be able to interpret, or how do you interpret it also matters. So that is how you mix out together. I mean, if I see
mm,
something as a scientist, I'm like, I'll observe it, and then I might have some questions about it, or do something about it, or anything related to it. Get
mm.
hypotheses in my head and imagine what could be out of that, and then maybe get the result out of it. Same thing as an artist. I mean, if I see you now and I want to write a beautiful poem about you or something, I can just have to start bringing out my imaginations and what I could observe and how to interpret it in my own imaginative way, you know. And that's where,
Wow.
even if I'm going to paint, how do I interpret the paintings or stuff like that, you know? So it's all it's all
It's
the
more
same
like
thing to me.
it's a process of your mind or your brain, the way you've trained your brain.
Exactly.
So you
Exactly.
analyze both science and art in the same way, but it's
In the
just
same
for
way.
you. It's who you are.
Exactly.
Wow. So
Exactly. So
tell
that's
me,
been me.
what is the most fascinating thing about science for you?
Well, it's just I mean, the beauty or the most fascinating thing is that it's very important in this world. It can change this world a lot. I mean,
Hmm.
even what I'm doing right now, environmental science and stuff, it's something that is kind of impactful
What do you say
to
you're
this
doing
world.
again? I didn't get that.
Environmental science.
Okay, environmental. Ah, so you study the environment.
Exactly. I mean,
What does
so
that look like? Like, what's that like?
well, now precisely we're going. I mean, I'm doing into water treatment mostly now, right? The company I works for, we do water treatment, and also I'm looking to, I mean, grow, of course, to get better and to develop myself into water management, especially, and environmental management also. So that's what it's about. But it's a matter of time, and it's a very slow growth process, but it's very important because that's what the world is going to need at the end of the day, how to
Hmm.
manage our resources, especially water, right? So it's something that can help in terms of global crises and managing the whole of the environment altogether.
So this is interesting because it's interesting because you're talking about water, right? And I
Yeah,
know you are in the desert, right? So
yeah. Oh, yeah, that's beautiful.
what does that, okay, as a scientist, and as it were. I mean, we've been hearing about global warming and all the whatever. So
Yeah.
now that I'm a scientist, I would like to know, where are we at as a world or as a place with water? What's the importance? Like, what are we doing to water, as it were, now? Where do we stand, like, with your research so far?
Well, luckily, and thank God for what's it called, for technology. There's been reverse osmosis, which has been going on over a period of time now, right? So reverse osmosis is just turning salt water into fresh water for drinking or for industrial use and all. But I mean, one thing is Dubai has actually been doing an amazing job in terms of water management. Like all the water we use for irrigation and all, they are properly from sewage lines, and they don't waste most of the water at all. So they just use the same sewage water we use. They don't throw it or anything. They treat it. Dubai treats the water very well. I know, it's crazy. I mean, that's what we have to do, because we need to manage what we have now, because trust me, we are running out of resources in terms of globally we're running out of resources, especially water, because based on what I've read and based on the researches that's been going on, water has been one of the major crises in the world.
But why? There's the ocean. Why are we running out of water?
You can't drink the ocean. That's the problem.
That thanks to technology, we can.
So the thing is, the amount you have to produce
into fresh water. So why would we run out of water?
But the thing is, there is a fine line also between how I put it, consuming the water from the ocean and for the use of human consumption, and how much can we consume actually. The thing is, we can't stop consuming as human, right? So it's always going to be there. So we can't drain the ocean, that's one thing. But if we're going to start, I mean, the global warming and everything, then the ocean will start depleting. I mean, the ice cap will start depleting and all those things, right? So somehow it's going to have a kind of effect which won't be favorable in the future. So we can't rely on that also as a final resources for us. So that is why, I mean, a lot of development now, like turning air into water, which is one very interesting one, which is like, I went to an exhibition in Abu Dhabi, and I forgot the name of the company or the name of the technology anyways. You convert air into water, right? So what they do is they just take all the air particles and all the particles present in the air, then pass through a filter, and then you convert it into water, and it's drinkable directly.
Question, sir. But please, so now, if we are converting air into water, we need air as much as we need water as human beings.
Exactly. Well, I mean, the thing is, no, we're not taking air directly. So we're taking the particles directly. So we have a lot of particles in the water. We have nitrogen, we have the oxygen, we have all of it all floating around us, right? So we have abundance of nitrogen already in the atmosphere, enough for us. So thing is, that won't really have any negative effect. But the only thing is, I mean, based on if it continues like that, if technology keeps growing and it gets better, then that's a very good option actually. But the thing is, these things consumes power, they consume energy, and also the resources we're using at the end of the day still affects the world. So there's no proper solution completely that's like, okay, this is a complete solution which won't have any negative effect one way.
Just combining
exactly everywhere. That's the thing. I mean, imagine powering a whole reverse osmosis system for a whole community of, I think, green community or something, a whole community here. It requires a lot of energy to be consumed for that. So
the energy we're talking about now it's like lights,
electrical, exactly. Yeah.
And then for electrical energy to be available, we still need water as well.
Exactly. Every single thing ties in together. And even if you're using solar energy, that's going to be expensive and very, very massive, right? So people, I mean, Dubai is doing really great because they're working on making PV, that's photovoltaic panels, which takes the sun energy and convert it into the electric energy for it to run the system for whatever it is, maybe reverse osmosis or desalination system. But the thing also about that is it requires a lot of energy to sustain the process. That's why they need to make it in a massive way. You don't just do it in maybe in a small size scale. It needs to be massive enough for it to power everything in. So yeah. So you can see it's interesting, right? Science.
It is interesting.
That's the thing. I mean, it's
Oh,
beautiful.
yes, it is. Wow.
Yeah.
Glad I'm talking to scientists.
There you go.
Okay, so
So
now,
it's
yeah, it's interesting.
yeah. Of course, I mean it's more than because the thing is, science is just so broad enough for every single part. I mean, I enjoy plant science also because
Mm.
in the past few weeks, few months ago during this pandemic period when it started, I had a chance to at least do one course on plant studies. And it's quite interesting. The
I
topic
see
is
the art behind you.
oh yeah, I mean I love environment, so what can what can I do? I just love the nature. I mean the natural order of the world. I just love it naturally. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I mean, I've been into plants, I've been into the
So,
microbes,
okay, so let
everything.
me just ask this again. What is one thing, or maybe it's a couple of things, that just you studying science has affected you personally, has affected the way you live your life? That you also think that if other people understand it, it will actually help us live better lives.
Yeah. Well, it has helped me, what's it called, appreciate actually a lot of things about life. Like,
Mm.
I mean, I've been able to appreciate water for sure. Excuse me, because I mean, I know for sure, I know where it's coming from, I know where it's going to, and all those things. So I understand the process. So it kind
You
of
don't use water
it has helped
anyhow.
me.
Like you don't waste water.
Exactly. We don't. Sorry, we can't do that because I know the process and everything. So yeah, even I
Mm.
mean that doesn't mean I can't shower continuously, but yeah, but it's just that I know.
As it were, you know where the water is going.
Exactly. So, I mean, but that's something good about Dubai. At least they take care of the water, so that's one good thing. But other part of the world, it's still not that good. So yeah.
Yeah.
And then also, I mean, I don't fear. I mean, something that has really helped me is I don't have much fear of, let's say, will I say disease or some infection or stuff like that? Because I mean, doing microbiology was very helpful. I kind of understand a lot about bacteria and all those things. Like I know if I have a boil on my
So,
hand.
so wait, when this corona thing started, you're like, please, don't come near people like us. People like
Exactly. I mean,
corona, not the rush us.
yeah, well, not like that. It made me realize, oh yeah, I mean, the thing is, okay, this will happen. Already at work, I already have hand sanitizer even before Corona or no Corona. Once you
Mm.
enter into my office, there is a hand sanitizer on my door itself. So once you come in, if you don't use it, you won't see it maybe when you come in. But when you're going out, you see it, you have to press it and sanitize you and get out. So that has been a usual thing for me already,
Mm.
normally.
Mm. Mm.
I wash my hand almost every time, even at work, because I deal with water, with different water, God knows what I love, equipment which I really need and stuff. So I often wash my hand because I wash it because I mean, from macro background or macro perspective, I know there are many bacteria flying around, many spores or fungus flying around.
Mm.
It's all around us for sure. Many germs are flying around. So I know somehow I need to sanitize myself. I need to sanitize my hands. So I'm very
But
careful with those things.
does that make you like doesn't make you paranoid, right? Like
No,
it, yeah, that's
no,
good.
no,
That's
no,
good.
it doesn't. I mean, I don't have OCD, so yeah, I'm not.
Like, please don't touch me. You're
No,
sweating.
no, exactly. No, I understand it. I mean, because I mean, I sweat a lot, right, when I go for exercise and stuff. So yeah, I know it is normal. But then I know even already in our body we have so many billions of bacteria already living with us. So it's like we're living with them. But the excess of it is just what is wrong, of course. Then it becomes a disease and then they become too much of everything, right? So I've been able to understand more of life easily in in this part of science, and so it has shaped a lot of way I see things and think and observe around, and even animals and everything around. It's so cool to understand even
Yeah.
human behavior also. Even human behavior sometimes, I mean, I tie to science a lot because
Yeah,
I mean,
because at least you have an idea of how the brain works.
exactly, I
So
mean,
how do
biochem
you like
genetics.
what is one exactly genetics? What is one thing that you have been able to apply, let's say in genetics or in the
Yeah,
function of the brain that you are
yeah,
applying in your life? Let's say okay, let's just say for literature, for example, you're writing.
yeah.
How what is one thing that you've applied or used based on your knowledge in science that you're now carrying
Yeah.
over into literature that has helped you writing?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of understood that. my writing didn't just come from the sky directly like that. I realized it actually it's something that's been a bit of my family, because I realized my mom actually she do write before.
Okay.
So although she didn't develop herself into it in that much, because she doesn't really, I mean, of course, so she was just writing as a normal thing. So she doesn't see it as something then. So I kind of know, so there's something genetics about that in me. So it's not,
The mom
yeah,
wrote.
it's, so
Okay.
it's part of, I mean, Yoruba will say, Inu eje lo wa.
Baby. Oh, you need to stability.
Exactly. So in that way, I kind of know that that's it. It wasn't just, it was later when I was reading most of my mom's books, which she has written, and I was like, oh my goodness, she's done a lot of stuff that I was like, all right. So that's part of genetics I kind of understood also. So
Nice.
I've been able to understand that it's not just, it's not just from the sky. Exactly. Because I didn't learn it. Oh, I didn't tell you one story. It's one of these. I was in my English class in India. Oh, I was the English representative actually before I graduated of the university then. So at least everybody knows me for that though. So I was the English rep, and then back then the English lecturer was just passing by. I don't listen to the teacher whenever she teaches in English class. Actually, I used to find it like, why am I studying English? I've always thought of English as a really medium.
Keeping it from my life.
Exactly, from primary to secondary to, I mean, why? I'm done, I'm tired. So but she knows anyways. I mean, it doesn't affect her because she knows me already, so she's okay with that. So she overheard me talking to my friend saying, I don't like English. But I was like, then she was like, oh, Temi, you don't like English? It broke her heart.
Oh.
It broke her heart. I was trying to explain. I was like, no, 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 no. It's not as if I don't like what you're teaching or anything. It's just like I've been studying it all my life. So that's what I mean by I don't like English. Not
Like I don't want to study in
exactly.
class
So
anymore.
exactly. So I was just saying I had to explain that to her to make her understand that. Oh yeah, so it's not as if I don't like this or something. I love it, but no, it's tired of studying it. I want to live my life. So yeah. Why did I even say this? I forgot. Sorry.
We're talking about what in science has made that you have applied, based on what you
Yeah.
have applied to your literature, to your
In
writing.
literature, yeah, yeah. Even I mean, I've written poems about science a couple of times, and it's just interesting doing that also. And I mean, when I write, sometimes I mean, I don't know. It has just because my brain has been shaped into thinking so much in science way like that so often. So when it comes to writing, also, you can still see that, but actually, oh, I won't lie. Actually, science wasn't what shaped my writing in the beginning, because how I started writing wasn't from science at all. It was it was I would like it's what people will consider as archaic, like it's an old way of writing that started my writing, which we might get to. I will tell you that also. So that's what actually started my writing. But I've been able to manage science into my writing a lot of times, like talking about nature and stuff. So yeah, it's always been part of it. Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. Okay, so now I'm gonna say that when you look at it, so if you were to say, if I was to ask you to say, I know that your exposure to science has really helped your writing. So if I was going to ask
Yeah.
you to say, give us a tip or two on how we can, the same way you've trained your brain to
Yeah.
say, you know what, it's not science and literature, it is
Yeah. Yeah.
it is one brain.
Yeah.
So same way I analyze science, I can actually analyze literature. So you're telling me now, from what I hear from that, is you're telling me now that if tomorrow you suddenly grew an interest in painting, you will use the
Yeah.
same, analysis or analyzing technique to look at painting and start to paint and draw. So if you will
Yeah.
give us to that, how do we begin to train our brains, based on your knowledge
Yeah.
in science? So how can we, if you have to give a tip, let's say, this my brother or this my son, they no more notebook.
Well, that's true.
You have
Yeah.
a brain. How can you use our brain better?
Yeah. Well, I mean, one thing I've always told even back then in India also, I used to have a couple of students I used to train back then. They were training for literature also then. But one thing
Mm.
I've always said is interest. That's the very much, for me, anyways, that's the most very important thing in anything I do. If I'm not interested in it, well, I can do it, but it's not really gonna be top notch. It's not gonna be good enough. It's just, but if I'm interested in it, I will keep pushing and I will be there somehow. One way or the other, I will be able to find my way through to get to the point, right? But even if I didn't get it on time or something, but I will keep trying. So the point is interest. One good example to anybody, especially maybe a young guy or something who enjoys watching football, right? You can see the enthusiasm in him, the energy he puts into it. Like, oh man, he knows all the players' name. Imagine he knows all the players on the field. He knows their wings. He knows what they do. So why does he know exactly? How does he know that? Because he's interested in it. So the most important thing is the interest in whatever you're doing. So some people don't get that often because they just thought maybe they can't do something. I tell people, I'm like, it's not as if you can't, it's because you're not interested in it yet. So most time, because I was interested in science, so that's why I tried most of my energy most time just to push through to get myself into whatever it is I'm doing in terms of science. And when it comes to literature, so because I'm very much interested in it, I'm like, I really have to get better and keep doing this. So it becomes interesting. It doesn't get boring anymore. It becomes like, oh yeah, I'm doing this. Oh yeah, I'm enjoying this. Oh yeah, it feels so good when you're doing. So it doesn't become a burden and it doesn't become a stress. Same thing. Exactly. So it just becomes cool and easy for you to handle it easily. So that's one very. That has helped me a lot.
Even when you hit a roadblock, you're not thinking of, I'm not doing it again. You're thinking of, there must be a way out of this.
Exactly right. That's the way it goes. Exactly. That's the thing. So if you're very interested, that's the easiest thing I've always told people every time. Be it studies, academic, be it even at work also, anything at all. It's all about your interest. Anything. It's all about interest. So that's one thing for sure. And I didn't tell you what actually got me interested into literature. I didn't start writing just like that. I was this lone ranger kind of child. This get inside kind of children you have in Nigeria. Like my mom is always saying, get inside, get inside. I don't really go out that often.
I didn't get that.
Get inside. I grew up in a way whereby I'm always alone most times. Right?
Oh yeah, like come on, go inside. You don't mix up with other kids.
Exactly. I didn't get to do that when I was growing up. Yeah. So I was just saying, I was, like I said, I was the inside kind of person. I don't really come out and stuff, and I wasn't good in most of the talent things which we do back then in high school. So it was later on, but one thing I've always read in terms of literature, I was also very poor in reading literature, stories and novel. It's always boring to me. Any story that doesn't have a picture in it, I don't read it. So if it has a picture, I enjoy it. But
you're very visual.
Yeah, I know. So it's like that for me. So I just don't like anything literature and stuff. But fortunately, I've always enjoyed the Bible and the stories of the Bible. That's actually exactly. It's always been the best. So, and I've always read KJV, King James Version, which is like old English. People don't really like reading KJV and stuff. So, and then I just stumbled upon, Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, and Songs of Solomon. I finished all of those. I finished all of those in one day. Right. So as I was reading it, and I was enjoying it. I was like, wow, this is beautiful. This is brilliant. This is wisdom. This is, all of this. And then I read Songs of Song. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is lovely. So, when I stopped reading at the end of the day, when I finished Songs of Song, that breathed the first ever poem I wrote. Wow. So that was the first time ever I wrote anything.
Was it a long poem you wrote?
Obviously, it was Songs of Songs. So it was. It was Songs of Songs. So what do you expect?
Did you have anybody in mind when you were writing it?
No, that's the beauty of it. Though. It wasn't as if maybe I was having anybody in mind. I was thinking of anyone, or I was even expecting anyone or anything.
Oh, this network! Stop it!
Oh yeah, your network is gone again. Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I said, did you have anybody in mind when you were writing that first poem?
No, I wasn't having anyone in mind at all. Oh, wait, sorry. I wasn't having anyone in mind, but it was just like I just wrote it because of what I've read from it, and it was just interesting. I was like, okay. So the thing is, I started by copying most of the words because I mean I'm new, so I'm not. I mean, of course, I'm a learner, so that's why I just wrote some of it, copied some of the style and the words and everything. So I copied it and I used it. So then that was the first one I ever created, and then
Mm.
so I wrote it in a book back then. Then I went back to school. Then I gave it to my friend, and they liked it. I'm like, oh, nice. And then so that's how it started actually.
Wow, nice.
So
So
that's.
inspired by the word. Yeah.
So actually, I mean, most of my style and most of the way I use, I mean, I do write and everything. It's still always it's still kind of tied into the way of the of
Inspired
Ecclesiastes and KJV and everything.
King
I mean,
James
sometimes I
Version.
exactly I try so hard to come
Oh,
into the new style, but it's difficult sometimes. But yeah, I have to I have to
if
write
that's your
it.
niche, it's fine.
Yeah. I
If
mean,
that's
most
your
time I
niche, it's fine.
exactly right. I mean, most time I had to I had to convert it sometimes. Like after writing it in old English or maybe old style, then I had to convert it mostly to the new style just
Yeah,
to
you got to look for the current
exactly for people
English.
to understand
Wow.
because most people don't. Yeah, they just be like, wait, I don't understand this. I'm like, oh
Right
man, this
now,
is
we're using now.
exactly. So it's just the only way I could make it easy for people sometimes. But sometimes I really don't mind. I don't care. I'm like, yeah, this
Wow,
is coming out from my head, and it's the beauty of it. So yeah, it's poetry. So yeah,
wow,
so
that's
yeah,
interesting to know. Thank you.
yeah,
I hope you're going to. Do you still have a copy of the first poem? I would like to. I would like to
yeah.
share it.
But oh my goodness, I don't have the book. I can still. I mean, the thing is, I remember the title. Oh, guess what? Even India also influenced that. Also, I watched a Z World movie for. There was this. There was this Ilu ILU. They use in that movie Ilu. So Ilu means I love you, right? So I think that was the title of the poem actually. ILU.
Ah,
Yeah, I love you was the title. So, but trust me, I can't remember the poem. And the book is very far away. I mean, the book is in Nigeria, and God knows it's very very far away. It's just so far away. Like I can't pinpoint because I've left Nigeria for a long time. I don't even think I know exactly the exact
where
location of
it
where the book is. But
Anyways,
I just have
so
old ones. Yeah.
if you could share some of your poems with us, that would be great. I would like to just share it so people can see your poems and
Yeah.
see. So if we want to connect with you, how do we connect with you?
Well, I'm very easy to find. I mean, if you just type Temi Cotek on Google, I think you're gonna find me. That's
Cotek, the
the
only Cotek that ever liveth.
that's the point exactly. I mean, it's like yeah. I mean, no one bears the name for sure. Temi Cotek that much.
As it were, you are the only Cotek who is yet alive now. Until you start
Exactly.
bringing
So
other Coteks to the world.
obviously, so
Fantastic, legendary.
I'm proud of that. Yeah. So that's one thing. I mean, I was even surprised. I mean, it's very easy. Just type Temi Cotek on Google. You just straight away you have a lot of things you will find about me there. It's so easy. So that's one way. I mean,
Interesting.
Instagram also is there, and I mean Facebook. I don't use Facebook much, but yeah, Instagram I'm still very active as live as
In
well
fact,
on Instagram.
that would be the title of this episode. Meet the only Kotek who ever lived.
Awesome, awesome, nice. I think I'm proud of that, really. Yeah,
Kotek to the world, man. I love it. I love it. I love it.
yeah.
Thank
Thanks so
you
much.
so much. Like, wow, you see, my jaws are aching because I can't stop smiling. Go
Yeah,
through this conversation. It's quite interesting talking to you or talking
yeah,
with
it really
you.
is. Yeah,
And I mean, you are an interesting person as a
thank
scientist,
you.
as an artist, as a writer. You are such an interesting person to talk
Thank
with.
you.
You're easy to talk with. You're fun. You have a sense of
Thanks.
humor, which is really, really fantastic. So keep it up and just
Thank
keep
you.
inspiring. What would be your last word to whoever is going to watch this video? What would you like to say? I mean, drop something now. Wise one.
Well, I mean, one thing, one thing I would like to say. I hope it is wise enough to. I mean, one thing I'd like to say is for whoever is listening, whoever is going to watch, is to be who they are, and they should always appreciate who they are for sure. Don't let anyone tell you opposite of that. That's you're not good enough in any sense. So you just have to know that even if you know yourself, maybe you've not reached the point yet, but just keep doing what you do and just keep getting better in whatever it is you're doing. But always appreciate yourself. Don't wait for people to tell you thank you, because trust me, the more you keep waiting for people to tell you thank you, the more you're going to wait forever. So that's going to take you forever to get the appreciation you really deserve, or the one you want. So appreciate yourself oftentimes. I do that to myself a lot. I mean, sometimes I write something, I'm like, oh, wow, I love this. I don't wait for people to tell me, wow, I like this. I mean, people sometimes think it's not egoistic, or it's not about being, I don't know.
Who you are.
Exactly, appreciating what you do and yourself and everything, so you don't have to wait for people to do that for you.
For accolades from outside.
Yeah, exactly. Because there's no point in if people tell you all those things, and if you don't see yourself as that, it doesn't make any sense. It's still not complete. So if you appreciate yourself and people appreciate you, like, yeah, thank you. I mean, sometimes that's where it goes. Sometimes I'm like, yes, I know, but yeah, that's. But thank you is the best response. Don't tell them I know. Yeah, so yeah. Appreciate yourself.
I have really enjoyed this session. I really do hope you who are watching, you've enjoyed it too, because it's been all smiles all through. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you, Temi, for coming on board with me.
Yeah, thank you.
It's really interesting talking to you, and I wish you all the best. Please keep our environment safe. Keep doing what you're doing.
I will.
I keep writing poems
sure.
us, right? So thank you so much, guys, for being here. I hope it's been interesting for you, because it has been for us. Until I come your way again with yet another episode of E-Chats with the energetic EJ. It is me saying,
Gabe.
Gabe.
Thank you.